Okay, hello everybody. My name is David, and I'm starting a new YouTube channel with hopes to make it a little easier for somebody that's never been in the hobby or been out of the hobby for a long time to get started in it again. And as you see, I have a J-Tow 3.3 Nitro RC car, a Spectrum radio. That's not a good starting spot. Um, so I'm hopefully keep other people from doing what I did. Anyway, I love it, but I love the smell. I love the sound. It seems like though my neighbors have a different opinion of this. It's more like, dang, that thing's sure noisy. It stinks. Okay, so it doesn't have the same impact for them that it does for me. So I can't really run it around here, and that's a big part. So I think we'll start kind of in the beginning. Let's see. Okay, in the beginning. Oh, wait a minute. That's too far back. Never mind. Really and truly, the first thing you need to see is what space do you have available to run the car, and the space that you have available, in my opinion, is going to dictate more about what you do than anything else. How available is a better place to run than something that's really close, like your backyard. So to me, the nitro just it kind of rules itself out. So we're going to focus on electric cars, and we're not going to start with HPI and Low C and Traxxas. I think there are some very good hobby grade cars, and there's a difference between a hobby grade and a toy car. So probably that's where we should really start. Toy car, not to bang the Walmart or anybody like that, but most of the cars that they sell are toy grade unless you go to Walmart.com. Then they're going through other sellers like everybody else does, just like Amazon does, and you have the availability to pick up what I consider to be a decent hobby grade vehicle. Um, but you need to decide whether you want a 10th scale, a fifth scale, 18th, 16, 24. There's a bunch of them. The I think a good place to start is somewhere 16 or 12, even 10. Like I said, it's determined by the amount of room you have. The smaller that area is, the smaller the cars need to be to remain fun. Do you want to drive it on grass? Do you want to drive it? Can you build a little small track in your backyard? The smaller the track is, the smaller the cars need to be. So for me, if you have a place to dedicate, um, you're going to have to determine if you want two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. Um, is it going to run on the grass? If you run it on the grass needs to be, the smaller the car is, the better manicured the grass needs to be. Not that they won't move in taller grass, but the grass drags on the bottom of the chassis. When it drags on the bottom of the chassis, you're using a lot of your battery that you could better use on a better surface. So if you have fairly tall grass, you need a larger car. Go with the 10th scale. But if you have a very confined space to run, try to stay with the smaller stuff. Go out and mow the grass before you start. Four-wheel drive to me is probably a good option. If you're going to do nothing but drive on the street, two-wheel drive's fine. You drive in tall grass with two-wheel drive, you're going to get stuck a lot. Um, so those are the kind of things that you want to look at. And I really the nitro, I love nitro. I love the smell of it. And when I have the room, I like it. The little car that I just showed you runs about 70 miles an hour, and you need a lot of room. It's a two-speed transmission. It kind of shifts on the fly, dictated by RPM. Uh, Maybe a good way to think about it. Um, I've got a crew cab long bed pickup truck, and if we go grocery shopping, my wife has a Nissan Juke. I'd rather go grocery shopping in the Nissan Juke if I got to tie a bag on the top, because I don't want to have to park that truck. I've got that for pulling an RV, so everything has its purpose. Um, Hobby grade RCs have replaceable parts, and that's the thing that you're going to look at, and I'll show you on here in a couple of minutes. But like I said, we're just trying to get this thing uh, kicked off, and I'm going to do some reviews. I like to tinker. That's another factor. If you like to tinker, the hobby grade stuff is a good place to get on, because and that's what you need to check. Whatever car you think you want, get on YouTube, find other people that are running that car, and look at 8 or 10 people that run that car and see what their opinions are. You can at least see how the car handles, how frequently does it flip over. Some of them are more stable than others. You want to crawl rocks with it, you need something that's a little slower. You want to bash it around. If that's all your intent is to bash, um, at least if you start with the hobby grade, most of the parts are available. They're fairly easy to put on depending on what you break. So that's where we're going to start with this video, is focusing on hobby grade 10th and 16, 12, and 10 is where I think the primary focus is going to be, again, dictated by the size of the place you have to run. So with all of that said, sorry for the funny looking headset. I have a day job. This is not what I do for a living. My day job takes me about 100 hours a week. So um, I'm not real much into video editing. I like functional sound, and this gives me functional sound. I wear this at my in my day job, so I'm used to it. It's big, funky, and ugly. Hope it's not too distracting, but I hate bad audio on videos, which to me, if I'm if somebody's trying to teach me something, I need to hear what they're going to say. So I'll wear the big, ugly, funky headset for now. I'll find something that's more appropriate at a later date. Anyway, I will bring the camera over and I'll show you some of the parts availability as I see it, some of the things that you're going to probably want to look for, and we'll see. I'll just focus on this one right here. See if we can tone that down a bit. So um, what we're looking for is you've got the different brands that are available. Um, Pick one. And once you pick a car, then we'll look at the 959. That's a real popular little car. This is the parts that are available for it. So you can do upgrade the motors. You can go to a brushless system, and I'm not going to cover that now. But you've got the brushed or brushless options, different size pinion gears. Um, Different size spur gears. Those will change the speed of the vehicle. So, but as you see, that 959, this was for 959B. So there's a lot of parts available for this car. And I'll show you what a 959B looks like here real quick. And you can use this one on or off road. Uh, I have you can change the tires. If you need a little more ground clearance, you can change the tires on it. It's pretty fast. One of the things that you can look for, some of the controllers are variable speed. So if you change if you slow the car down, it's a lot easier if you're getting started to control the car, learn to drive the car, then crank it up a little bit. And there are other ways. As I said, some of the controllers actually have multiple speeds, but one of the things that you can do is you can actually put a piece of rubber tubing over this so that so it won't go wide open throttle. Um, and it's just a little trick, but if you put something, even if you zip tie it or whatever, you're going to control how far you push the throttle. Some of them have a trim control where you can set the speed up and down. But as a beginner, you're probably going to want to go a little bit slower. You get used to turning the car. When it's coming toward you, it turns in the opposite direction. So get used to those things before you start trying to crank it up. I'm not into breaking things intentionally, but I do like if I do break apart that I can go back in and pick up whatever it is that I need. You got different kinds of battery systems, and this is what I'm going to be going over in the videos that follow this one. So I'm not going to get too much into that stuff right now. My plan is to review cars. My plan is to after we do some of the reviews, I like to tinker and I like to modify stuff. So if I'm going to tinker and I'm going to modify stuff, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to do on the radio. I mean, on the channel here. One of the things I want to do is I would like to build a FPV system for an RC so that you can actually drive it with a pair of goggles, just like the guys with the drones. I thought that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. Record the video on the car. And so I'll have to build the mounts and stuff like that. Part of tinkering, I happen to have a metal lathe and a milling machine, a couple of 3D printers and stuff like that. So it makes it a little easier, but there are other ways to do it without those tools. So without rambling too much, the biggest thing, keep the RC sized to the area that you have to run it. Probably start with electric would be, in my opinion, the best place to start. Um, Decide if you like to tinker with it, but don't, the J-Tow, when I bought that, I actually had a broken back and I had a lot of time to not do anything. Um, Everything on that, I've either built the components or bought them, almost everything in its aluminum upgrades. I've got way more money than that car than I even want to admit to. So we'll just leave it there. You can get into these things. Here's one for 53, one for 85, one for 90-ish. And so, I mean, here's even, and that's a 12 scale, probably two-wheel drive. And, but it's less than $50. So, and these are on Banggood. Um, I have had good luck purchasing through them, and I've purchased other places, but I've had good luck with Banggood. So anyway, I'm probably going to wrap this up right here. I don't like to edit, so what you see is what you get. When I do a car review, if somebody sends a car to me, it's my opinion, not I'm not going to tell you what their opinion is. And if they don't allow me to do that, then I'm not going to review it under their name. Anything that you hear me say I like, I like. Anything that you hear me say I dislike, I dislike, and it has no bearing on whether I bought it or not. I think I've ordered I don't even remember now, 5 or 6 RCs out of my own pocket to start this channel with. So we'll see where it goes from there. But anyway, maybe this helps somebody get started at a lower level than they think is required. Maybe it gives you the inspiration to get started. And as I get new vehicles in, matter of fact, that one came in today. So probably, like I said, my day job's 100 hours a week. So it's probably going to be a week between videos unless something changes. So we'll see where it goes from there. But anyway, good to meet everybody, and I hope you come back. Subscribe, hit the little bell, and you'll get notified when I do make a video. The more participation I get in the website, if I think it's getting a little traction, I'll put a little more effort into it. Maybe even learn to edit the videos a little bit. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.